All right, in this episode, we're going to go over cabinets, not just kitchen cabinets. We're going to go over cabinets for the whole house. So, when a home is sold, one of the main components of the home that dictates whether the home has an older, sluggish look or a newer kind of contemporary feel are the cabinets. Now, you can always just do your kitchen cabinets, but it's usually wise to do the cabinets in the whole house. And there's varying ways to do your cabinets, and we're going to go over those. You know, if money isn't as big of a concern, then you can do them all in one way, a more expensive way, although it's not expensive, just not the cheapest or most inexpensive. If money is of really great concern, you can do the most inexpensive throughout the home, or you can do a mix and match. I usually recommend the best way for at least the kitchen. And then if you can afford the other cabinets in the house, I would do those two in that way. So let's go over the different ways you can redo your cabinets, and then we'll go into styles and colors. So the way cabinets are constructed there's boxes. So like if you open a cabinet door, that's really just a box with a frame on it, like a wood front frame, and then the side would be paneled as well if it's a side cabinet, and then there's a door. So in most cases, unless the cabinet boxes are 60, 70 plus years old, they probably don't need to be replaced. I would say anything that's 40 years old or more, unless you have just beat them to death on the inside, then they're fine. Most cabinets in the last 30 years are melamine. So melamine is like the white. Melamine is really like MDF, so like a particle board with a white, I don't know if it's vinyl material, but some kind of white covering on it. So the inside of your cabinets would be white if they're melamine. Melamine's very durable. You may have melamine that's really scuffed up and dirty, but you can clean all that. You just use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, go to town, they'll be sparkling brand new again. So if you have really old cabinets, you can order new cabinet boxes. I'm not gonna really go into that just because a lot of people, in our area don't have homes that are 60, 70 plus years old. So if you need to replace all the cabinet boxes, if you need to do it, reach out to me, but there's ways to do it less expensive. You can go to a cabinet maker and spend $40,000, $50,000, but you can also just have prefab cabinets ordered and shipped to you where you actually assemble them, which is very easy. You don't need to be a handsy person or a handy person to do it, but that's the less expensive route if you need to replace the boxes. So I'm just going to leave the boxes at that. So let's assume that your boxes are good and you want to redo your cabinets. So what you're going to do is called refacing. So that entails changing all the cabinet doors, changing all the drawer fronts, and covering all the stiles and rails and side panels. So the stiles and rails are the vertical and horizontal components of the front frame of the cabinets. Drawers are really just boxes with a front panel on them, which is the drawer front. And then cabinet doors are obviously just a separate component that are attached with hinges. So when you reface cabinets, there's a couple different methods to cover the stiles and rails. The less expensive, which I've used in my home and plenty of clients have used, is you choose a color or a wood and a stain, and they will send you a wood veneer that I think is 1/16 of an inch thick, and it's got an adhesive backing on it, and it essentially just goes over and sticks onto the stiles and rails, and then you just cut it with they have a method to it, and there's a YouTube video that'll tell you, they have YouTube videos that'll tell you how to do it. But it's really easy. You don't need to be a contractor, you don't need to be a handyman, you really don't even need to be that handy. It's really simple. And so, whatever you choose, you would cover the stiles and rails. Personally, I like to then paint so the veneer will go, let's say the stiles and rails are 1/2 inch thick. So you've got a rail here, and you've covered the front of it with the veneer. Well, the thicker part right here, to the side. So you've covered this part, and then you've got like the thick portion that's sitting up against the box of the cabinet is still the old wood or old color. So I usually like to paint that thick part after I'm done. It doesn't take much. You just throw down some masking tape on the box and easy peasy. Doesn't take long. The masking is usually the hardest part. But if you have 20 cabinets in your kitchen, take you a couple hours to do the painting part. Really not that hard. But that's a nice feature, so that when the door gets opened, you don't see the veneer and then a different wood, which is clearly visible. It all just looks the same. So that would take care of the frames. When you have like a cabinet that's on the end of a group of cabinets, the side panel of that last cabinet, they will send you a piece of plywood that's the right size, or not necessarily plywood, but a piece of thin wood, 1/8 of an inch thick, that is in your selected color or paint or whatnot, and you can just glue it on or use a couple of finishing nails to tack it down to the side. They have, again, instruction videos. It's not hard to do. And that covers, all the stiles, rails, side panels. Now all of that is the new color or wood plus stain that you've selected. And then you measure all your cabinet doors, and they will send you, and drawer fronts, and they will send you all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts. This is the kind of like the mid price level refacing, or mid price level cabinet upgrading. The most expensive would be to just get all new cabinets. This one is kind of like a do-it-yourself. I mean, obviously you're not constructing any materials. They send you the materials. When I did my kitchen, which was 10 years ago, and obviously things are more expensive, it was $4,000 to do my whole kitchen. That's cheap. And it probably took me, I changed the style of my cabinets from, like a very ornate beveled inner edge of the cabinets with lots of little, beveled edges that were, I don't know what you call them, but they're an older style, to a shaker look, which is just like a flat frame. And I also wanted to space all my cabinets perfectly together. So I measured all my cabinet doors, and I made some modifications to the height and the width so that they would line up properly. Just me being OCD. So measure them all, you enter them in at the company, and they'll say, hey, all these are going to cost you, $3,000 or $4,000. It really depends on the size of your kitchen and the style you're selecting, the paint, that sort of thing. So that is refit, and then they'll send you all soft close hinges with it. When you're redoing the drawers, I like getting soft close drawers as well. So that's just, you remove the box, which is easy. There's just a couple clips, you remove them. And the guides that the drawer slides in and out on can be replaced with soft close slides. So you just remove one on one side, put the new one in, and you're not even drilling new holes. You're just using the existing holes and screwing it in. Do the other side, and now they all close nice and soft, just like the cabinets. So not only are you getting an aesthetic, functional upgrade, you're getting kind of like a luxury upgrade in the soft close, which is really nice. If you don't have soft close, once you go to them, you can never go back to the other ones, to cabinets and drawers banging, because you're just so used to, you close the door and it just softly closes, no banging. It's amazing. I don't know, it's kind of like power windows on your car. You were fine rolling them up and down your whole life, but once you get power ones, you're like, I don't think I could go back. So really nice feature, comes included, at least for the cabinets portion. The drawers, I know that I had to buy some separate soft close slides, which I just ordered on Amazon. Not a big deal. When you're putting in these new hinges, they're just going into the existing hinge holes on the cabinets. So you're not drilling anything, you're not creating new holes. It's all just, you can use a screwdriver or an electric drill to just put in the new screws. So very easy. Okay, so let's move to the least expensive method of upgrading your cabinets, and that's just painting them. Now, if we're trying to be frugal in cost, you can do the painting method, but painting never really looks as good as, it doesn't even come close to the other method of refacing, which is getting new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, essentially. Painting, you have to find someone who knows what they're doing. If you need someone, reach out to me. It's not that inexpensive. A kitchen could cost $5,000 right now. I would suspect that refacing now is probably, if it's a $5,000 cost for painting, it's probably an $8,000 to $10,000 cost to reface. But when you reface, the kitchen looks all the cabinets look brand new. Painting, it's still going to show grain from the old cabinets. There's still going to be dings in them. The grain is a huge part because, if you have oak cabinets, it's just a grainy wood, and if you have the right person doing it, they'll sand them. They may even like wood fill them a little bit, but you're still going to see grain. It's not a great look. When you get all new cabinet doors and drawer fronts, there's not going to be any grain showing through the paint. It's all going to be flat, smooth, brand new. I would highly recommend going the reface route, at least for the kitchen. And if you can't afford to do it for, your hall cabinets and bathroom cabinets, and, I guess laundry room cabinets, if you have a separate laundry room, then you can paint those in the same color that you did your kitchen, and at least it'll all flow well. At the same time, doing the kitchen cabinets and drawer fronts, you can add pulls, which are the handles to open and close. There's a lot of different styles out there. I've kind of got it down to a science on what I think looks best. And, the material, whether it's stainless or black or champagne bronze or brass, will come down to the rest of the aesthetic in your house. So I can certainly help you pick all that stuff out. I don't charge you, it's free. Just reach out to me and I'll help you with it. The pulls themselves, not that expensive. You can spend a lot of money if you want to buy like really nice pulls, but typically you can find some really good looking pulls on Amazon, for the whole kitchen, maybe $500, but they're worth it. They really bring everything out. So that's kind of the complete package of doing the kitchen. And then if you want to paint, you can paint and add the pulls. That's the lesser expensive option. But if you're going to spend the money, I'd rather do it the right way and go for a nicer, newer look. So we've covered getting all new cabinets done, refacing, doing it yourself, and then painting, which is hiring a painter. You have to use a very specific paint. Lacquer is typically the best because it's not going to scuff. It's a very hard layer on there, and the only thing that can happen to it is if you like bang it with something hard, it can chip, but that can be touched up. You can't just use like whatever type of paint. It has to be very specific paint, and from what I understand, lacquer is the best. So you can do the painting method. So now let's talk like the tier just above doing a do-it-yourself reface job is you can hire a company that does refacing, and they are going to do it's going to look better when they do it. It's going to look far better when they do it compared to what you can do, no matter how good of a job you do, because they do it in a different way. They're not using a veneer. They're actually going to measure all the stiles and rails, and they will cut the wood and put, 1/4-inch veneer on everything in the style that you want. Also, on all the outside corners of, I'm trying to make this look right for you guys, like the outside corners of cabinets, they're gonna put like a molding that goes around, and then they're also gonna do new molding at the top. When you do the refacing yourself, you can purchase all the molding, and per our previous video, you can get all the molding if you want from the molding company, or the company that is selling you the refacing materials, they can send you the molding as well. But they're not going to send you corner molding. They're not going to do all these little nice things that kind of pull it all together. Your kitchen will still look amazing if you do it yourself, but it'll even look better if you hire a company to do it. But it's going to be more expensive. It can cost, if it's $10,000 to do it yourself, I don't think it would be 20 to use a refacing company. It'd probably be between 15 and 20. So a little more expensive, but the look is going to be incredible. Here's a before and after photo of a kitchen that we just redid last year, where we redid the cabinets and we used a refacing company. And I have a really good one to refer you to, but we used a refacing company. We did the counters through Home Depot, the backsplash counters through Home Depot. And then obviously we changed the lighting, which, that's the last 3 videos, and you can just see the incredible difference. And it was only $30,000 to do all that work. And then we spent it was less than 5 to replace all the appliances. So we did a slim microwave, which is kind of the new style, where the hood was, that, it's a microwave and a hood. We did a counter depth fridge, and then we did a new range. And I think we purchased them over Labor Day, and we just got such incredible deals. I think all of them together. Oh, and a new dishwasher. It was like $4,000 or something, like amazing. So we did the whole kitchen for $35,000, and you can see like just a vast difference of aesthetic appeal. I mean, you have a house, it's the same house, but now you have a house that has kind of like a dreary old look to it, and all of a sudden you've got this bright, cheerful, contemporary, brand new kitchen that just changes the entire feel of the home. So when you're redoing your kitchen, you redo it for yourself, but it's also gonna, whenever you do sell someday, it's just gonna help your sale leaps and bounds. It can change the value of the home $50,000, $100,000, if not more, just doing that investment. So so those are the different ways. We have all new cabinets, we have a refacing company. Oh, the one I wanted to refer you to, and I've used them, and they are incredible, is the Kitchen Reface Depot out of San Jose. The owner, Paul, he does a lot. They do all the fabrication in-house of their doors. They will remake cabinet boxes for you as necessary. For that one that I just showed you, we changed the orientation of the kitchen a little bit. We removed the double ovens and the floor to ceiling cabinets on near the entrance to the kitchen. And then so they remade boxes just for the bottom part and the top part, and we left it open in the middle so that we had more counter space and the kitchen just flowed better. the new boxes cost us $1,000. So we changed the complete feel of the kitchen for $1,000 using, for an additional $1,000 using this refacing company, and having them just construct some new boxes. So Paul came in, he measured, he said, hey, this is how we can do it, no problem. It was a piece of cake. They made the boxes, they installed them, and of course they put the refacing materials on those as well. So just an FYI, if you have a little, we call it functional obsolescence, which is, an older design that's kind of like out of taste or out of, I don't know if use is the right word, but if you have an older design and it just needs to be modified a little bit to be a little more functional or aesthetically pleasing, the refacing company can help you do that for very minimal cost. Okay, so let's go into styles and colors. So for higher end homes, I'm talking like luxury estates that are, usually in, for our area, I'm not talking Eagle Ridge, I'm talking like Cordoval. I would definitely go with natural wood for your cabinets, and the type of wood and stain is going to depend on what else you have in your house. I mean, that's like 1% of the people watching this video. So if you need help with that, if they need to be upgraded in the first place, reach out to me and I'll help you. But for everyone else, from $2 million homes down to $800,000 homes, the best looking always has been for the last 10 years and will continue to be for a long time are white cabinets. So white it's just like when you sell a home, you want to make it neutral and bright. Same thing with the cabinets. Like white, it's not stark white. It's kind of like, we use Swiss coffee as the typical color, which when you put it next to stark white, you're like, oh, this isn't really white at all. But for all intents and purposes, it's white. So Swiss coffee, it's just a timeless look in the kitchen. It just has a very contemporary feel, no matter, I think it'll still be the same in 20 years. When you put white cabinets, you have lots of options for pulls, depending on what else you have in the kitchen and the aesthetic you're going for. So that would be my recommendation, kind of the espresso look. So if you look at this entertainment center behind me, it's not quite espresso, but it's a darker wood. That's all out of style now. I need to replace mine or really just reface my entertainment center. But I would stay away from like dark brown, that's espresso. That's really kind of gone out of style. I would stick to, really Swiss coffee is like your safest bet. If you're gonna die in your house and you wanna paint them purple or green or, whatever color that avocado or, hot pink, or you can do whatever you want, but it's not gonna necessarily be the best for resale. If you want something that you're gonna love and then will be good for selling, go with white, go with Swiss coffee. That's the absolute, that's the easiest choice. It's gonna look really amazing and then it's gonna be good for selling. So, all right, so we've covered all the different ways to do it. Also the different colors. If you want to go with natural wood, I would definitely go with like a mid brown tone. Stay away from anything that's red in color or has a lot of red in it. Stay away from dark brown. Stay away from, like super light brown, like obviously oak, maple, those colors. No bueno. Like stay away from that sort of thing. You can kind of go with a mid brown. Again, if you need it, if that's the way you want to go, reach out to me and I'll help you select. I really have a good eye for these things. So we've gone over woods, colors, the different ways to do it. Again, at least do your kitchen, but try and do the whole house in the same aesthetic. And it's just going to transform your house from something that just feels old to something that feels a lot newer. And yes, this is a more pricey upgrade, It could be, depending on the method you use, it could be $10,000 to paint all the cabinets in your house. It could be, $30 if you reface your kitchen and paint the other cabinets. It could be more if you have a company reface all your cabinets, but it will improve the value of your house, the 2 or 3 times the investment that you make into it. So it's definitely a worthwhile investment. You'll enjoy it a lot more. People who come over to your house will feel like your house is that much nicer, that much newer. So I couldn't recommend doing this enough. Next month we'll go into counters and how that ties into the cabinets and the lighting and all that. So stay tuned. We'll do that next month. But in the meantime, keep knocking off things, or at least planning the things that we've talked about in this video and the 2 previous videos. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. You gotta kind of do them in order. You wanna go all the stuff in the basic video, then you can do your flooring, then we can do the cabinets and the counters, and we'll move on to some other things.